Hey guys, it's Maria, and for this video I'll be doing 5 tips for pastel drawing that I like to use. And yeah, so the first tip that I'm going to be talking about is using pastel paper. And the reason I use this is because okay, so before I found out about this, I would just kind of use like whatever paper and not very like special paper specifically for pastel. So usually it'll say like on the pad, like the drawing pad, it'll say like for pastel or like drawing paper, stuff like that. So I really recommend using pastel paper just because it has a specific texture that really grabs the pastel and lets it stay on the paper. And then the number 2 tip that I have is when you want to sharpen your pastels, what I like to do is use an x-acto knife or sandpaper. And usually when you use like traditional sharpeners, they kind of break off the pastel, and you don't want that because it's kind of frustrating, and yeah, it's not very productive. So an x-acto knife, or better, because it's better to work with, is sandpaper. And the third tip that I have is to sketch your drawing. Whatever you're drawing in a light colored pastel, or a pastel that's similar to whatever you're drawing, like say if you're drawing like a frog, like maybe you'd want to draw it in a white colored pastel or a very light green, just so that it's easy to erase and that you don't, like, say if you're using a darker pastel and you were to erase it, you could still see the dark pastel left on the paper, and we don't want that. So another reason I say this is because sometimes I would use pencil for drawing my outlines, and it's kind of annoying because graphite doesn't mix with the pastel, and yeah, it's just way easier to use a light colored pastel for sketching out your drawings. It just makes it 10 times easier. And the next tip that I have is to use a kneaded eraser. And a kneaded eraser is like it's like almost like Play-Doh in a way. It's like you could squish it and like mold it to however you want it, and you can even mold it to like a small tip, and then you could like really erase and get in. You could really erase like fine details, and that really helps because I've used like big erasers and it's kind of hard to really get into like the small, I don't know, really small details to erase. It's kind of hard. So kneaded erasers. And the last tip that I have is when you want to blend. I know that there's like fancy like blending tools like at art stores and stuff, but the way I was taught and the way like how I learned was to use your finger, or you can either use a Q-tip. And the Q-tips, for me, I really like to use it because they're cheap. You can buy like a box of like 100 for like really cheap, and yeah, they blend really well and they're really soft, so you're not like ruining it or anything. And plus with fancy blending tools that you buy like at the art store or whatever, they give you like so many tips to blend. And then like say if you were blending something dark colored and then you wanted to blend something on the light color, you only have maybe like 4 tips in a pack. So sometimes, like, I don't know, you run out of blending tips. But with Q-tips, you could keep using them, and yeah, there's a lot in a box. So alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed my 5 tips for soft pastel drawing, and Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out www.sparkif.com for full online art courses where you can learn from home. And yeah, bye guys.